Hello, welcome back to Big LEZ'S League and all rugby league experience. I'm your host, Big Les. We're going to get stuck in to every team's best 18 and 19 selections for 2026. This was an interesting one to do. I obviously had to look back at my predicted team list. Obviously, since the trials, there's been changes to my predicted team list and whatnot as well. So that'll account for who's in jersey 18 and 19. But really excited to get stuck into this. If this is the sort of content that you like, if you're a rugby league nerd like myself and you want to get stuck into more content just like this, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube, become a part of the Big LEZ'S League community. Also, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, more exclusive content. We got a specific quote from Payne Haas from his own mouth, just talking about his decision to leave the Brisbane Broncos. That's on the podcast now. You've obviously got a bunch of other great content on there, everything that drops, all the news, all the team lists, all that sort of stuff we react to on the audio platform. So make sure you subscribe to them. And the Instagram, Big LEZ'S League, give that a follow as well. Growing really well on there, so I want to keep that momentum going into the 2026 season. And then also, just before we begin, the Sportshed TV charity match that is on the 22nd of Feb. Make sure to go ahead and get your tickets. They will be in the description below. You can get your tickets there and come and watch me play. Come and watch your favourite content creators play. Come watch Brad Takarangi play. Come watch another NRL player who cannot be named yet play. So many great things on the day. Food trucks. There'll be the trials for some of the Parramatta League games. So if you're around that area, you want to see some of the trials, you can come down and watch that as well. All that great stuff's on. But let's get stuck into this video. We'll start off with the Dolphins and the Dogs. So, let's get stuck straight in. For the Dolphins, my jersey 18 is going to be Jake Averillo. I just feel like he can cover a ton of positions, depending on how they want to structure their bench. The Dolphins, if they want a Donahue at 14, if they want a Plath at 14, who can still cover quite a few positions. Just having Averillo there in jersey 18 means that, if there's an injury pretty much anywhere on the field, from pretty much 1 to 7, and including maybe even 9 at a pinch, he can come on and fill a role there. So Jake Averillo is just one of the safer guys to have in jersey 18. He's almost the perfect jersey 18, especially for the six-man bench. And then Tavita Nafa'u, who I think will be unlucky to miss out on first grade for the latter part of the year when we see Jack Bostock return for the Dolphins. So I think that him in jersey 19, he can cover pretty much anywhere in the back line. Averillo can cover fullback, so you don't really need that. He can cover wing and centre. Big Tavita Nafa'u, when he's a guy that deserves to play first grade week in, week out. And if there's any opportunity for him to play first grade and to break his way in via this 19 jersey, all the more better for him because he's a great player and definitely a first grader of the future. For the Dogs, I've got Mitch Woods. I think that they're going to start the year with Burton and Galvin, and it's not even going to be a matter of them wanting to go that way. Mitch Woods, is going to be out for the first couple of weeks with an injury, 6 to 8 weeks from last week, so about 7 odd weeks left of rehab to go for Mitch Woods with another little niggle there. But they won't start him straight away in the halves. I think that he'll be progressively a guy that comes in, and I think that jersey 18 is almost perfect for that. He can still play New South Wales Cup, but then if there is injuries there in first grade, he can come in and obviously get that opportunity from an 18 jersey. And then Cade Dykes, who can come in and obviously play fullback. He can play in the halves. He can play in the back line to a pinch there as well. So you've got a guy that can cover those positions. So I think that is perfect for both of those sides. If you disagree, let me know in the comments. For the Broncos, I have got Grant Anderson. Again, can cover pretty much anything from 1 to 7. We've seen that from the Melbourne Storm. And then you've obviously got Josh Rogers there, who is your typical sort of 14, big stocky guy, can play a bit of a roaming role, can also play in 7 and 6 really, really well, probably to a better skill set than what Grant Anderson could. Grant Anderson can fill in and play in those roles really well, but Josh Rogers is that out and out number 7 that if one of those big dogs does go down in a Renault or in an Ezra Mam, you can bring this sort of guy on. Ben Hunt can obviously move into those roles. So Josh Rogers is just a bit of cover in case what happens in the grand final happens again and both of those guys go down. That's a bit of cover there. You could also go for another forward like a Ben Takura if he doesn't make first grade straight away. You could go for, who else is there? Just some young guys coming through at the Brisbane Broncos. Not off the top of my head, but some young forwards. You could definitely bring them through there. Ben Tolte, if he doesn't make first grade, these sort of guys. So that's where jersey 19 can be a little bit, up for discussion for the Brisbane Broncos. For the Sharks, I've got Niwai Peru, who's Huapa Peru's brother, the halfback. He can play half and 5'8". Very, very good player. I think that having cover in the halves will be very, very good. So having a guy like that there in jersey 18 will be good. And then your outside back, your typical outside back there in Liam Myson, a guy that will be pushing for that fullback jersey anyway. If there's an injury at fullback, he can come in. If there's an injury on the wing, he can come in at a pinch. Centers, he can come in at a pinch. So your typical outside back utility there in Liam Myson. Again, he's a guy that's going to be close to cracking into first grade, depending on what they want to do with Will Kennedy post 2026. So, Liam Myson will be there for me in that role. For the Dragons, I have got Tyrell Sloan. Tyrell Sloan will obviously be one of them. I think that he'll miss out. It sounds like the starting wingers for the Dragons, based off this second week of the trials, which is pretty close to what their in-game team list is going to be. It's a very stacked side that they've named, pretty much all of their first graders. Tyrell Sloan's going to miss out. It's going to be Tuipulotu and Setu that take those starting wing spots, it looks like. So Sloan there can cover wing, fullback, centre. So here's your typical outside back pick. And then Cade Reid, a guy that I think will be pushing for first grade. Defensively, I think that like in King Tongi has got a bit to work on. Cade Reid for me looked very, very comfortable. Obviously still needs to get used to those physical demands of first grade, but just skill-wise and attacking-wise, he's going to be an absolute freak. And, he's definitely a great guy to bring into a game if you've got injuries from a Daniel Atkinson or a Kyle Flanagan. He's a perfect guy to sort of bring in. For the Cowboys, I've got Jake Clifford. It looks like he'll probably miss out, even though he's named this week in the trials at 6 with Purdue moving back into the centres. I still feel like you'll see during this week of the trials, and obviously I think by the time this video comes out, you probably might have already seen it. But Jake Clifford, I feel like will probably be more likely in that 18 jersey. I think that both of these guys will get cracks during this second week of trials in the 5'8 position, and whoever plays better, which for me it's probably Clifford from the first week, but again, obviously we'll have to wait and see the second week, then they'll get that jersey. And if it's Clifford will play 6 and Purdue in the centres. But if not, Clifford will be unlucky. You'll see most likely Purdue play 6 with Dearden 7. And then, Clifford can sit in this 18 jersey. So that's a bit up for debate as well, depending on what your 17 looks like and how they're named, obviously, in round 1. But I think it will be Purdue that wins the jersey, just from a retention piece. I feel like he's the guy that they're going to go with at 5'8". Jay Clifford for me, he's in jersey 18. I've got Zach Labart in jersey number 19. Now, again, it really depends on what your sides look like for the Cowboys. I've got Zach Labart in there. I think that he is definitely the pick. I think that he'll be unlucky to make first grade. I think he won't make it. I think that he'll be out of the side. I think, going off the top of the dome in regards to what their team list is going to look like, you probably have Drinky, obviously, at fullback. I've then got Murray Taulagi and Braden Burns on the wings. My centre's right side will be Viliami Vailea. Left side, it sounds like it's going to be Tom Chester. There might be a little bit of an injury there, but it looks like it'll be Tom Chester. But he would have been fighting with James Walsh and also Zach Labart for that jersey. So, I think that Labart will be the guy that sits in that jersey 19, can play fullback, centre and wing. So, very, very versatile. For the Newcastle Knights, I've got big Mr. Gamble, Tyson Gamble. Now, he is named at 14 in these trials, and we'll have to see what the Vegas team list looks like. But if he's not your 14, he's your 18. Can cover 9, 6, and 7. It's perfect number 18. And then your number 19, I feel like for the Newcastle Knights, they've got Fletcher Sharp, they've got KP. These guys can play 6 and 1. They've got guys that can move around. Dylan Lucas can obviously play in the centres. And you've got guys like in the centres that can push out to the wing if need be. So I almost feel like for Newcastle, they're in a spot where maybe an Asuka Poa, who can still play wing and played wing last year for the Penrith Panthers and New South Wales Cup and got Player of the Year for New South Wales Cup in their team. Player of the Year for New South Wales Cup, I was supposed to say, for that position. He can play wing, he can play centre, he can play back row, like he can play in a lot more positions. And I feel like he'll be a guy that will be pushing for first grade anyway. So Asuka Poa, definitely a guy for jersey 19 that I would say would be perfect for how Newcastle have their side structured at the moment. For the Parramatta Eels, I've got Ronald Volkman, again, 9, 6 and 7. He can play all those positions, so it's your perfect number 18. Jersey 19 will probably be Jordan Samrani. Played a bit of back row last year, but can also play wing and centre. In regards to fullback, it depends on how your team is shaped. If Joash Papali'i is in there, he can obviously go. Obviously, they've got Pezzett most likely with Mitch Moses, so maybe you do want to go with someone that can play a bit more fullback at a pinch, but looking at their back line, you've got Sean Russell there who can move into fullback if they've got injury. So Samrani, for me, is a good enough pick there for jersey number 19. For the Panthers, J. Cole. Mr. Ice Cold, J. Cole. I've got him in jersey. It's a cold world. In jersey 18. I think that he'll be the guy that sits in jersey 18. Again, 9, 6, and 7. You want a guy that can play that role. Another guy that probably would be the pick there for jersey 18. I've got J. Cole just because he's younger and I want to blood him a little bit more. But Jack Cogger would probably be a bit more of a likely option for jersey 18 if he's not jersey 14. For my team list, my number 14 is going to be Freddie Lussick. So I'd have Jack Cogger maybe in that role as a bit more of a likely option. But I've gone with J. Cole here. I think that J. Cole will probably take that 18 spot. As I said, younger. Jack Cogger for me is a bit more of a veteran. Probably a reason to pick him in there, but I just want to blood some of the younger guys through. And then I've got Tom Jenkins, Mr. Jenkins. I've got him in jersey number 19. I feel like based off my team list, and it's really unlucky for a guy like Tom Jenkins, but I've got Mr. Jenkins in jersey number 19 because I've got Paul Alamotti starting on the wing for me at the moment based off the finals last year. There's every chance that obviously Tom Jenkins takes that spot back and we see Mr. Alamotti in this jersey. So either or, again, that one's up for discussion. For the South Sydney Rabbitohs, I have got Latrell Seagulls. He's in jersey number 18. Can play fullback, wing, and centre. He's a guy I want to blood in first grade. I feel like, he'll probably be a really good option as well. And he's in the top 32, I believe, this year. So you won't have to get the exemption for him to be in that jersey 18 sort of role. He can be there. Whereas for a Matt Duffy, if that's the way you wanted to go, Matt Duffy would need the exemption to play. Same to Ashton Ward and these sort of guys. So Latrell Seagulls, the guy that I've got in there. I've also got Celestia Tata in jersey 19. Now, the reason I've got Celestia Tata in there is every chance that he's unlucky to not make first grade at the start of the year. And I also think as well, rather than picking a half or, the centre wing, something like that, I've gone with Celestia Tata because if the fullback goes down, they've got Latrell. If the 5'8" goes down, they've got Latrell or Jai Gray to move around there. If halfback goes down, they're most likely just going to throw Latrell in there as that ball-playing half. They've got most likely Jamie Humphries on the bench anyway that can come on and play in the halves, based on my side anyway, or a Bud Sullivan or whoever you have at 14. So I feel like they're pretty much set, whatever their side looks like. So I'd go Celestia Tata just if one of the forwards goes down, or if they want to, blood Celestia Tata in and one of the older guys maybe needs a bit of a rest. They can name Celestia Tata in jersey 19 and then play him as part of their regular rotation. So Celestia Tata is there in jersey 19 for me. Now, you're probably, having a little bit of a break between going to the next team, which is the Roosters. I guess the idea that you're getting from this video so far, and obviously you guys can let me know what you think in the comments. My idea around jersey 18 and 19, the basic idea is a half that can play 9. So Jack Cogger is probably the perfect example, like a Jack Cogger in jersey 18. And then jersey 19 will be an outside back, a really good outside back that can play fullback, centre, and wing is the default sort of option. And then, depending on your side structure, for example, if you've already got a Cogger at 14, rather than having him in jersey 18, well, then you can afford to bring a guy that's a fringy in, like a Celestia Tata, one of like a back rower that can play in the centres at a pinch, or one of these sort of guys. I think that there's flexibility there with how you want to structure it, and it really depends on what your 1 to 17 looks like as well structurally. So that's my idea around the 18 and 19, the extended 6-man bench. Let's get to the Roosters. So for the Roosters, I've got Tom Rodwell in jersey number 18. I think that Tom Rodwell, really good player. He can play in the halves. In jersey 6 or 7, he's the next guy up as far as what they're talking about there at the Sydney Roosters. You've also got most likely Hugo Savala playing 14 anyway. So he won't be in that jersey 18. But again, depending on how your side looks and is structured, that's up for debate. That spot, it's either Hugo Savala or Tom Rodwell, in my opinion. I would most likely go with Tom Rodwell, because I think Hugo Savala would be in my 14. And then I've got Tommy Talau. I've got Tommy Talau, who can play fullback, wing, centre, 5'8" of the pinch. He's very versatile. It makes a lot of sense to have him there, and I don't think he'll be playing too much first grade. For the Canberra Raiders, I am going to go with Dane Laurie. I think that Dane Laurie obviously will not be playing first grade, and I think that he'll be the fullback in Cup. Fullback, wing, centre, 5'8". He's named at halfback in the trials. We'll see how that goes, but can play pretty much anywhere. And then I've got Kobe Black, who they'll progressively bring in, and I feel like we'll take that 7 jersey at a stage. So, again, depending on what your side looks like for the Canberra Raiders, I've either got Black or I've got Ethan Sanders. For the Manly Seagulls, let's get stuck into Manly. I have got Zach Docker-Clay in jersey number 18. Again, depending on how your side looks, you could have a Joey Walsh. I've got Docker-Clay because I feel like they will back in Joey Walsh straight away in that 14 jersey and blood him into first grade. If they don't, then Joey Walsh would be my 18 and Docker-Clay would be my 14. But that is pretty much tit for tat. You can go either way. And then I would go with Clayton Failalo, who I've been really impressed with in the trials. He can play wing, centre, fullback. Really good player, very talented. I feel like he'll be a guy that you will see a lot more of in the future, depending on what happens with Tom Trbojevic and the next couple of years at Manly. He's a very good player. If Cooler does decide to go as well, you could see him come into the back line. Even with Ruben Garrett going next year as well to the Roosters, he's a guy that could come into that Manly Seagulls back line. For the Melbourne Storm, I've gone with Hugo Peel in jersey 18. Now, Hugo Peel can play fullback. He can play wing and centre at a pinch, but mainly fullback. Very good player. He'll be a guy that will be a little bit of a smoky, depending on how he's training. Another guy that could sit in that jersey would be Manaia Wateti, who, looking at this now, I probably would go with because he's a lot more versatile, can play pretty much anywhere from 1 to 7. So Manaia Wateti would probably be a great option, but I've got Hugo Peel in there at the moment. And then Joe Chan, who can play centre and back row. Again, with how the side is shaped, you've got Wishart there who can play pretty much anywhere. So I would go with Joe Chan in that jersey 19, who I don't think will be in the 17 for Melbourne, or at least isn't in mine. For the Wars, Tamari Martin's my jersey number 18. I feel like Tamari Martin, again, can play 1, 6 and 7, 9 at a pinch as well. Played 9 off the bench for the Warriors last year. So Tamari Martin, a bit more of an experienced guy to come in, I think would always be a safe option there for the Warriors. And then Ali Leotawa there in jersey number 19. I think, can play centre, can play back row, can play 5'8". Very versatile. He's a guy that I'd have there as well. And a bit of a smoky to push his way into first grade in jersey 17, 14, wherever you want him. And if there's injuries in the back line, he can slot in there as well. For the Tigers, I've got Jock Madden in jersey 18, 9, 6, 7. That's my argument there. And then I've got Heath Mason, who won't make first grade, at least not in my side. But he's played plenty of first grade as well, 1, 6, 7. can play centre and wing to a pinch if they really need it. So Heath Mason would be the guy in jersey 19 for me. And then the last side here, which is the Gold Coast Titans. I've gone with Lockie Ilias, who I think will be very unlucky not to make the Gold Coast Titans 17. I would love to see him at 7 with Jaden Campbell at 6. It's not the way that they're going to go. So I've got Lockie Ilias there in jersey number 18, who can cover 967. And then I've also got Alan Fitzgibbon, who can cover the outside backs as well. They've got enough fullbacks in that side to cover fullbacks, so centre and wing, you really need the cover there. I've gone with Alan Fitzgibbon, who will be pushing for first grade. Anyway, if you enjoyed that content, make sure to go ahead and click the subscribe button down below. All of the platforms we shouted out at the start, Instagram, Spotify, Apple. Shout them, give them a follow as well. And then, obviously, again, the Sports Shed TV charity match. The link will be in the description to buy your tickets, so make sure you go and do so. It'll be a great day. You'll get to see Big Les play another game of rugby league football, get bruised and battered for the Mark Hughes Foundation. So buy your tickets. I'll see you down there.